Okay, now I'm going to do a full demo and a full test on the electronics on this TOS. And this particular one will have a remote system, actually a 2 remote system, an auxiliary and main remote. And it has a sound card for sound bites. And the ones you hear in this video are not the ones that are going to be actually used. It's just for a test. It also has a weapons board, which consists of external speakers, obviously, and it'll have photon effect and phaser effect. To keep things simple, I just went ahead and incorporated all the weapons effects just to come out the lower dome, which is not how it was set up on screen. We all know that, but just to simplify things, I ran both LEDs to the lower dome. If I do it again on a future build, I will take the time and route some rather heavy fiber optic to the appropriate weapons launch locations. But for now, we're going to be using the lower dome. So I believe I have everything temporarily wired here. It looks like a mess, but if you guys have ever done this before, when you temporarily set something up, it usually looks like shit. Alright, so we'll see if we can't fire this thing up with the main, let me make sure, the main remote, which does main power. What else? It does your weapons controls and 1 sound bite on A. So let's see if we can get power. And okay, so that works. So main power right now controls too much, in my opinion. I'm going to adjust that. Right now, main power does obviously your main section lighting, your engineering, and your saucer. And it does engine, chiller grills, and it also does impulse. And the changes I will make with separate switches on the base, I will not have the impulse or the chillers come on with main power. I really don't want the engines to come on with main power, but I think we'll just leave that alone. But this is what main power gives us right now. All of our lighting functions, which I am going to adjust, like I said. We've got our nav lights working, and we have our bridge lighted up. We got our green navs working. We have our lower navs working. We have illumination. We see, I was talking to my client, and he was worried that there was going to be no light in the lower dome because we have it light blocked mostly for the weapons. But we are getting some light bleed from the saucer, which is a good thing because I didn't want it to be totally blacked out. And we have our saucer lighting. And keep in mind that I use Formula 560 for all of my clear windows in my Starship builds, so keep in mind that that has not been applied yet, so you're going to get some JJ effect going on here. This is a problem area for those of you guys who have built this ship and tried to light it up. This aft section back here is a pain in the friggin' ass to try to get enough light and have a shuttle bay back there. But I seem to have gotten a little bit back there, but not quite as much. as I would like. And I've also had issues with wire pinch on a previous build, which really pissed me off because the client got his ship and apparently it must have shifted while being shipped, pinched a wire, and so this was all dark when he got his ship. The ion pod lights were working, but the LEDs I was using for to light up this portion of the ship must have got pinched. But I've changed methods, and one of these days I'll do a full instructional video on how I totally redo what Polar Lights says to do when it comes to lighting up this shuttle bay. Step one is don't use the Polar Lights lighting kit, and then that's the easy part. So, okay, so this is what the main lighting does, and like I said, I'm going to eliminate the blue chillers and impulse from coming on when you first throw on power to it. So, kind of like the effect also that I have going on with the impulse. The colors will actually shift when you change your viewing perspective, which I think is really cool. This is not the final piece. This is a test piece that I use on all my builds, and I use the ambient light on this particular effect, but since I'm going to be turning off the impulse engines, I'm going to have to put in some styrene and totally light block this out. It's too bad though, because I really like the effect. Not a problem if you're going to leave these on all the time, but since I'm going to be shutting them off and turning them on individually, I can't have all that light bleed. But if not, you can see how just by changing your viewing angle, it goes from yellow to red, just like firing engines would probably look. So we're going to lose that, and plus this gets photo etch, as you all know. Well, like I said, this is just a test piece that I use on all of my builds. But like I said, I'll be light blocking the light bleed coming from the saucer. So got that to do yet. Minor stuff. Okay, so let's get on with some effects that the board will do. And like I said, we have weapons, and I hope my speaker is hooked up so we can at least hear. And as a reminder, we do have our weapons effects coming from the lower dome, which is the quick and easy way to do this. So let's proceed with that. We'll go with photon control. It's a little slow on the repeat there. Now we have phasers. Simultaneously going off here, I think it'll work. I would prefer that there was a 2 torpedo burst. But it's 1 burst for each push of the button. Well, what are you going to do? It's fine. Okay, so there's weapons effects. Not too bad. Okay, and what else do we have here? Okay, let's proceed on to auxiliary remote, which will control sound bites and the speed of the engine. So let's check the engine speed control here, which I think is D on this remote. I think that's medium speed. That's high speed. Medium. There's low. A little fast still, but still not bad. I think those could be a little slower, but I don't think it looks terrible. I will probably diffuse those outer domes a bit more, because I'm seeing the fan blades a bit too crisply than you should be able to. They should be diffused a little bit more. So a little bit more tweaking on those domes. Maybe I'll give it maybe another shot of flat clear just on the outer edge. I'll feather it in, and then I have some Tamiya clear smoke tint, and I'll see if I can't darken those with the smoke tint just a little bit to get. They're almost there. It's just that it looks like those fan blades are painted on the outside of the dome. I just think the outer domes need diffused just a bit more. So, but that's it basically for that. Now let's do some sound bites. Now these are just demo bites. This is not the final sound bite. Let me see. I'm checking my connections. I think I have a speaker come disconnected. 1 second. I'll be back. Okay, technical difficulties are sorted out. We'll play through some sound bites. And these are just demo speakers as well. This will be going through an external audio system when it's all said and done. So, oops. Then you can grab your other remote, fire some phasers. Come on, Scotty. You gotta have the ambient bridge noise, or what's the point? I wish I had the full soundbite card, but I seem to have misplaced it in my shop. I need to find it. I could easily lose a baby elephant in this frickin' place. I need to clean it up. But I want to thank Ralph at Tenna Controls for putting this together for us. Seems like I've had to call upon him a couple times to help me through the electronics portion of this, because it's not my specialty by any means. I rely on guys like Ralph to come up with this awesome setup, but sometimes I can screw things up, and I've almost given Ralph a heart attack a couple times telling him what I've been doing. So, but he's walked me through it, And so far I think we're on par with getting this thing finalized. As soon as we get the base, we're having a custom base made for this, so this is where we're going to be at until that gets here. But overall, this is pretty much done. The electronics check out. The weathering is complete on this one. I'll tweak some more diffusion on the outer domes here, and if I have to, I'll change the inner domes and I'll just make those a little bit more subdued on the inside. But we'll see what happens. Right now, I think we're good to go. Everything is working. I do need to put one little piece up there. I guess that's a control room that goes up there above the, just above the shuttle bay doors that has the window. I've left that piece out so I could get that. I have a really small SMD LED up there that I can actually move around and position it. And I think I've got the light coming out of this dome where I want it, so I think I'm safe to go ahead and put that window in. And yes, I will be light blocking, taking care of this little bit of light bleed that you see around that. So yeah, don't you worry about that. And there we have it. I think I got room for one more shuttlecraft for him. And the approach lights is what I'd like to call them. The call the ball lights, if you will, are pretty washed out. But trust me, they're not this bright in person. So kind of looks like I've got two different color of lights going on in the shuttle bay. I've got the yellow warm white and normal bright white going on in there, so gives it a good touch. And that's it.